Okay, there it is. Well, it is a pleasure to finally meet you, sir. Nokutula has told me that you are the best affiliate that they have. And the moment she told me, listen, Johan is a little bit of an older guy and he's pulling in clients like crazy. And I was like, no, there's no way that an older man can outdo the young guys
Right.
like today. So I'm very keen to hear with you. How has this journey come about? Because obviously you started at the bottom to where you are recognized as HFM, previously known as Hot Forex, as the best affiliate. How did that journey start?
Yeah, I've been a long time in financial services. I became involved in 1991. Then I worked for 10 years for First National Bank as a broker. And in 2001, I became involved in Forex. So 2002 in February, I quit my job at First National Bank to switch over to Forex full time. Now, it was not easy going at first. I struggled, made many mistakes, lost money, made something, lost something. So that forced me to start doing my own research. I did several courses which was of no value. And I started doing my own research and I had a breakthrough and things started to get better. People started to ask me, Johan, I see you're making something. Can you help me? And that's how I got involved in training people. So I've been training people since 2003. And over the time, because of the value of my methods, I started to build up a reputation. And more people started to contact me. So that's more or less the story in a few words.
Okay, that's really inspiring to hear. Now, normally when people make the crossover from 9 to 5 to being a full-time trader, they aren't that aware of the challenges involved. Can you maybe shed some light on the challenges that you went through during the shift of coming from a secured salary every month to you having to fend for yourself now?
Yeah, that was a very difficult decision for me to make because security and financial stability was very, very important to me. And to think that suddenly I'm going to risk everything to work without a salary any longer, that was a huge and difficult step to take. I read the book of Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and he said in that book about his friend's dad who recommended do your own thing. It's better than working for a boss. And that motivated me to take the step. But there was also family matters. My eldest son had to go to a high school, and in the suburb or the small town where we stayed, there was no high school. He had to go to a boarding school, and he was not very happy with the idea. So I asked First National Bank, can I get a transfer to a larger city or a venue place? And they said, no, we need people in the rural areas. And so they didn't want to give me a transfer to a city. And that was the big decision. Then I will have to quit because it's important to get my son in a high school where he can still study from home. Yeah, the first few years, first 2 years especially was difficult. I had to learn to budget. You have to have a couple of months money in the bank so that in case your car break or anything go wrong, you have the money available because the moment you're without a stable job or stable income, the banks will see you as a high risk and you don't qualify for any loans. So you have to be very careful with the way you use and spend your money. I had to learn to budget. Sometimes my wife would tell me, can we buy this? I said, no, I don't have the money. And so she said, but you've got a huge amount in the bank. I said, no, that's the money for the next 3 months. I cannot touch it. Anything extra, I can touch. So yeah, you get used to it. And if I look backwards, it was worth it. I'm financially independent. I'm my own boss. I can do what I want when I want, and that's nice.
Yeah, no, it really is. And when I listen to what you say, your wife recognizes that there's a large amount in your bank, but you are like, no, I saved that for X amount of time so that we can continue to give me some leeway to build on that. That is really not only insightful, but it is inspiring because I don't know if you have seen the culture in Forex today. Today, people will make a 50,000 and they will go spend it and show everyone on Instagram. But with you, I'm getting the conversation of stability and um, being responsible with what you have. Now, by a conversation you started a year before I was born, and I am very keen to find this small part out. Obviously, right now, you have the ability to press the buttons from home. And I've seen in the movies of the trading floor and traders screaming on the trading floor and taking orders from there and stuff like that. Did you have to go through that as well?
No, I've never been on a trading floor, actual trading floor. I did several courses, online courses, and then I had to do my own research, and I learned by making mistakes and investigating every time after every trade. Why did it not work, or why did it work? And that way you start to see principles that is recurring. So in my opinion, the markets are not as random as a person think. You can fairly accurate uh, uh, see where the market may change direction, and we use that for trade opportunities. I get feedback from clients who report over 90% accuracy on their trades. In other words, out of 100 trades, over 90 made a profit. And the losses are much, much smaller because of a good money management. We try to keep losses as small as possible and allow the profits to run.
Wow, like the value that keeps coming from it, because money management is something that is not very often spoken about in this industry. Because like I said, if you look at the forex culture today, it's make and spend, impress, impress, impress. But um obviously, because this is why I told Nokutula, I'm number one, I'm excited for this interview with you. But
Mhm.
number two, I'm also a little bit intimidated because the conversation that you would have is not the conversation that I've been having with a couple of traders over the past, let's say, 5 to 6 months. You have a much more valuable conversation. So I guess that is why you have become the best affiliate that they have. And I promise you, because like I told them, I would like to do an interview with one of the affiliates of you guys so that we keep it to your brand. And they said, listen, there's one specific guy that we have in mind, and we need to get him. We don't want anyone else. And I'm really glad that I got to speak to you today because um, I believe there's much more value to be extracted from this conversation. Now, one thing that I would like to ask you is more about capital. And I believe you can answer this question really well, seeing that you have um, the experience of working at FNB on the broker end, and then also your experience throughout the years with trading for yourself. Capital requirements. I know I get angry when someone asks me, Rydel, what do you think? Is 1,000 rand enough? Is 2,000 rand enough? And I never get the proper answer for how much should be used to start with. Is there perhaps any insight that you can give to what determines how much you should start with or how much you can start with?
Yes, it depends upon your aims. If you hope to make a lot of money quickly, and naturally first you have to build your skill on the demo account. I advise my clients, if you cannot make money with $10 in a trade, a volume 0.01 on the premium account, then you will not be able to make money with $1,000. So first get your skill right on the small level, and you can build up towards a large amount. So I get many people who come to me with unrealistic expectations. They hope to be a millionaire in 1 or 2 or 3 months. It's not that easy. Uh, there's a joke on the forex markets where they say, what is the quickest way to end up with $1 million in your account? And the answer is to start with $2 million because you lost the rest. So you understand, it's a tough game and you need to know what you do. And my recommendation to people is decide what is your aim. Would you like to do this only as a hobby, or would you like to do this as a career? Now, for a career, I recommend to be active as a part-time trader for at least a period of 3 years to develop skill, because the moment is your only source of income. Many people cannot cope with the high level of stress that go along with it. They start to get fearful, they start to make mistakes, and eventually they wipe their accounts. On the other hand, people who start with very large accounts, they think, oh, I've got a lot of money and I can afford to make some mistakes. And very soon the account may be empty. I've seen clients who lost $40,000, $50,000 in their accounts due to a lack of discipline, lack of patience, lack of skill, not practiced long enough. So I warn people against that. So most of my clients, we start with small amounts, we build it up over time, and eventually they turn it into a full-time career. I do hope this answers your questions.
No, it doesn't. Like I said, with every answer you give, the value that I get, it just keeps on climbing. Now, you mentioned that you urge people to practice on the demo before they go over to live and use the actual money. Now, there is this theory in Forex that the demo markets and the live markets are very much different. Therefore, people continue running to the live market, so they feel like, oh, I can lose money, and but I'm learning. They get themselves under that fallacy, I would say. And then at the end of the day, like you say, the accounts go to zero. Concerning time, how long is a good time in your opinion? Because obviously you've dealt with a lot of clients, you yourself have dealt with a lot of setbacks, comebacks, setbacks, comebacks. How long do you think is a good enough time to practice on a demo account?
I think it is mainly depending upon your level of how do you see yourself, your confidence, level of confidence. I've had clients who never traded before in their lives who within 2 days after training are already on a live account making a good income. But many people will practice 3 to 6 months before they are ready for trading live. Now, between demo and live accounts, there's actually no difference because the graphs are exactly the same. But on demo, there's one thing that's lacking, and that is fear and stress. Uh, what can you lose on a demo account? Absolutely nothing. So people are comfortable, they take a risk, they take a chance, and sometimes they are lucky and they think, wow, I'm clever, I'm good. But the moment you go to live, every trade counts. Either you make a profit or you lose something. So people start to experience fear and stress. And if you cannot learn to cope with that, you will fail eventually. So that is why I recommend people start trading your live accounts with such a small amount that you are not scared. If I lose a few cents, but not hundreds or thousands of rands in a trade. And that way you build your confidence. As soon as you see things are working for you and it's working consistently, then you are ready to start trading larger amounts.
That is very good to hear that, because obviously you said it depends on how you see yourself. So basically, it depends on your level of understanding, I believe. So the harder it is to understand, I believe, the longer you would spend time practicing, which is a good thing, because I believe when you come onto the markets, you should be ready and you should understand what you're doing so that when the time of stress and fear comes, you know exactly how to handle with it. As an experienced trader, sir, how do you handle with the stress and the fear that steps in when you enter that trade?
Now, it's just that thing of discipline. You know that the methods are working, stick to the rules. So I'd like to use an example. I've had a client in 2007. He trained with me. He was very poor. He lost his job. And he started an account with $337.60. That's all he had to deposit. And in a period of 3 months, he grew his account to over $9,100 in 3 months. And I asked him, what did you do? Well, all I did was I followed the rules. So the secret to success is to be able to stick to rules. And when you notice, yes, I made a mistake or the market changed because of some unforeseen circumstances, get out with a very small loss before it is too large.
Yo, that is really insightful, because obviously through your journey, you have experienced that very, very often. So tell me, when in your journey has HFM, or have you gotten involved with HFM?
I received an invitation from HFM in 2013 to become a affiliate with them. And I started working with them, and very soon I learned to trust them. I've been scammed in the past with some companies that are unreliable, but I've very high confidence and trust and faith in HFM as a reliable company to work with. I can also say that in the years I've been working with them, I've had no problem with any client who complained that they've been treated badly or unfairly or were unable to withdraw their money or any problem like that from HFM. If a person's account is getting smaller, it's because he's making losing trades. It's not because he's been cheated out of his money or anything.
Sure. So if my math is correct, we are going towards you being an affiliate for HFM, previously known as Hot Forex, for almost 10 years.
Yes.
And you've stuck with him the whole time.
Yes, I'm marketing other companies as well, but I can truly say that I refer most of the clients to HFM because I've got faith and confidence in them.
When you this is a big deal for me, obviously, and I don't know all of the answers, and I know for a fact what you're gonna say next is gonna be so helpful to me. As Nokutula said, my YouTube channel is based on she was putting a little bit soft. My YouTube channel is based on scammers. So I expose people that have scammed before, but then I also do interviews like this where the broader public can see that the value and the knowledge out there is real. And then number two, that Forex is real and you can make a living from it. Now, I have given them some tips on how to look out for a broker when choosing a broker. And like I said, I know that I don't know it all, but what is your requirements for? Because obviously, I heard you say that they invited you, and then you started to trust them. So that means that you were also maybe a little bit of skeptical about them in the beginning, and you maybe also had a requirements list that was like, okay, they have to be regulated, they shouldn't have bad reviews. What was your requirement list for you to be able to say, okay, I can attach my name to this?
Yeah, I'm looking at the support you receive from a company. When we are working with clients' money, they don't want a delay, asking a question today and 2 days later or 3 days later get a reply. We want immediate reaction, and I can say that is true of Forex or HFM. That they are very quick to respond whenever there's a problem or a question. They solve very quickly. So things like that show you that there's a company that's interested in doing well. They're supporting their clients. They're supporting their introducing brokers. And another thing is the fact that whenever there's a withdrawal request, the money is about within 2 days in your bank account. Never any complaint or any question or any problem. No, but we cannot do it today or tomorrow, and then wait till next week. It's immediately reaction, and that's what I like.
That is very good to hear, because normally today people um they like to know that when they press withdraw, the money will be in their bank accounts really quickly. Um, you said that they offer you support, and me and Okutula have spoken a bit about your journey with them, and she told me about um, a house that you acquired where you are doing where the house you are using for training and for mentorship, where if people come from far they can sleep over, or am I understanding that correctly?
Yes, I bought in the end of 2019 a new venue with the main purpose for training and also accommodation for clients who come for training. And it's a nice looking place, very comfortable. We enjoy to stay here. And it was done 100% out of Forex income.
Sure, that is nice to hear. Now, in your training, what do you offer? What do you offer clients as the educational package, basically? What do you learn them? What do you teach them?
Okay, I start with basics. What is Forex? How does it work? We look at South African law. What may we do? What may we not do? Um,
Ooh.
SARS, how do you deal with income tax on your trading profits? How to bring money back to South Africa? How to deal with it? I look at fundamental trading. How do we consider what's happening on international markets at the moment in the world? How do we implement that into trading? We look at fundamental announcements. How can we cope with that? So that's all on day one, which is kind of the background of Forex trading. I also deal with all the terminology, what's a pip and a pip spread and a margin call and stuff like that. Then in day two, I switch over to technical analysis, and day 2 and 3 is totally technical analysis, and I teach them from introduction methods to advanced methods, which I developed myself. And like I said, is fairly accurate. It's been working over 16 years consistently under all market circumstances, and I've got full belief that it's going to function perfectly well in future as well. We tested the concepts on Forex, on metals, gold, silver, platinum, other stuff. We tested it on indexes, on shares. We tested it even on cryptocurrencies, and it's working everywhere. So I've got high confidence in the methods. And what I like about the training is that every time people are with me, I have to prove to them that the methods are working. And that I've got such a confidence in the methods. I've been proving it intensively over 1,000 times to different people. So I know it's working, and there's no doubt in my mind. And thereby it's getting actually easier to trade because you've no doubt, is it going to work or not? It is going to work.
Yeah, if you have faith, this is something that I've also learned over time. If you have faith in a proven strategy, it will work out. If you just stick to the discipline. Are you talking about developing strategies?
Yes.
Nowadays in the forex industry, you will find school children that doesn't know the difference between they, there, and there, but they will want to come and teach people how to trade, and apparently it's their own strategy that they've developed. But from a professional standpoint, how long does it take you to develop a strategy? Because obviously there's back testing that goes in, and obviously in market where you test the strategy on current data, and I know that is time consuming. So how long have you spent on, let's say, just developing one strategy? What is your average time frame that you spend on developing it?
Yeah, the strategy that I'm teaching people developed over a period of at least 5 years.
Ooh.
It's very, very slow. You discover something, and later on you see another thing, and you start to notice that the things are reacting at the same time. So by adding them together, combining the strategies and concepts, you developed, and and uh, and now we are able to kind of predict when the market's going to go for a strong move in advance because the market is telling you. I tell people what we see with the indicators is like we have to learn to read between the lines. It's like reading a story, and it's giving you clues. The market's going to do this, the market's going to do that. And in the classes, when I train people, I make predictions, and very often you will see that is correct.
I'm 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 very good. Sorry, I'm very happy to learn what you just said, and it's really amazing because, like I just said, there is small boys that doesn't they don't even have a good vocabulary, but they are teaching people how to trade. So hearing from a professional that, because obviously risk management, money management, backtesting, in-market experience, all of that counts. And like you said, it would normally take you up to 5 years. So just hearing that already lets me know that I can rule out a whole lot of children that has barely finished school but already has their own strategies. Now, one thing that a lot of people in this industry is struggling to grasp and struggling to understand and do is dealing with SARS.
Hmm.
Can you please give us insight as to how we should go about dealing with them when we make profits? Do we pay it monthly? Is it a big payment over 1 year? Or like, how do you deal with it generally?
Yeah, now there are some trade secrets that I cannot give away over the internet, but we have to report for SARS, and you need to keep a list of all your expenses because you can deduct the expenses from the income. For example, the cost of your computer, the cost of the internet per month, the cost of electricity, the venue you are using. Uh, uh, that way, the taxable income is getting smaller and smaller. But the thing that's very difficult is that you cannot really declare your income the moment you made it. Let's say you had a fabulous trade where you made a huge amount of money profit. If you now go and declare that to SARS immediately, but next month you make a loss, and almost all that profit is gone. This is just an example. But uh, uh, SARS will
still want that
require
tax.
you to pay tax on the amount you declared. And if you now tell them, but I lost most of it, my income is not that large, it's much smaller, you've got a problem. You're not going to get refund. So we have to be very careful with that. What we normally do is whenever we withdraw money and is deposited into a South African bank account, SARS can anyway see that money and you declare that money. So you pay on all the money that you take. You declare that because there's no income in your pocket, minus the money that you first invested to get started and minus your expenses. So that's what you declare. And I think it's better than on a regular basis to declare something to SARS. So I pay upfront tax every 6 months. And that way, at the end of the year, there's not a huge amount to pay to SARS because most of it has already been paid. It makes it easier.
Sure. I can only imagine the amount that you give SARS. So tell me, this training that you offer, what is the success rate that you have seen? Because obviously, it's I take that mentorship courses right across the board will have the ones that's successful, and they will have the ones that's not as successful. And normally when there's more unsuccessful ones than successful ones, then it implies that that isn't such a good mentor maybe. But what do you rate yourself concerning success rate of clients that are consistently making money?
Yeah, again, that is a difficult question to answer. It depends upon the level of motivation of the client. I sometimes get people who come here looking for a get rich quick scheme, and unfortunately, Forex is not like that. It's hard work, lots of dedication, many hours in front of the screen. So people who want a quick fix are not going to be successful, and quite often then a person will, within a month or 2 months after training, tell me, ah, no, it's too much time, it's too much effort, I'm dropping this. Uh, Today, I can say that it took me 2 years to get going, or a year and a half to get going. And I almost gave up at that stage. And today, I'm very grateful that I stuck it out because, like I said, I'm financially independent. Uh, so the success rate totally depends upon the clients, but I've got a huge number of clients who eventually turn this into a career. Many of them, after a while, will quit their jobs and become full-time traders. So I think the difference between me and some of the other affiliates is that they try to convince people, come sign up for a trading account and you're going to make a lot of money, but they don't give that people any help. Now, you cannot put somebody in a plane, airplane, a cockpit and think it's going to fly that plane successfully without any instructions. So the people will fail and they will kill themselves. So my attitude or a way of working with people is I help them from scratch to develop this into a career, and so they stuck with me. And I think that is the receipt for success in this game. If you want to be an affiliate, is give your clients the help they need to be develop into successful traders. So I've got clients who, even after 10 years or more, they will always come back to me if there's a question or a problem and they want it solved or they want advice. Some will, after a couple of years, come back for a revision or to redo the course just to make certain the level of knowledge is up to standard.
That is that is really good to hear. When you have people that comes back to you over a certain amount of time, obviously a level of trust has been built. And to get to that level of trust, that obviously means that you as a mentor has put in a lot of effort into that client. So that is most definitely what I would like to hear, and what I believe the industry as a whole would like to hear, because like I said, my channel focuses on scammers, and people do not get to see this side that you are showing us of Forex right now. As a beginner, right? Because you have seen clients come and go. You are still busy getting people on board with the education, if I can call it like that, and showing them the proper way to trade. What do you think is good? I wouldn't say characteristics. What do you think is good habits of a beginner to have when they just start?
Okay. There must be a dedication. They must have the wish to develop into successful traders, and know and understand is going to take some work, hard work, lots of dedication, lots of time. But a person must be very patient. Sorry, I just want to make the phone quiet. Just a moment. Excuse me. Hello. I'm busy on the international call at the moment. Is it possible to call me later? Thank you. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Yeah, where were I? Yeah, a person must be very disciplined, very patient, and because of practicing with the methods, must develop the skill to see that yes, it's indeed working. So you need to build confidence in the methods, and slowly, slowly things start to get better. But like I said earlier on, there's no quick fix to learning to trade. A person must be dedicated. If you're not willing to trade at least every day for the first couple of months, even if it's only a demo trade, uh, you will not develop into a good trader. This is a thing where you lose your skill if you don't practice every day. So even after all the years, I cannot stop trading because I may lose my skill. I'll be every day spending a time in front of the graphs. But naturally, if I want to go on holiday, I don't have to, but at least take a laptop with me that I can check what's going on in the markets. If I've got time and I'm bored, then I'll trade.
I'm I have to say, it is really refreshing to hear that you put so much emphasis on the skill and developing yourself into a good trader before. Because normally when people come in, when I came in, even I'll be honest, when I came in, it was a case of I'm gonna be a millionaire in a month, I'm gonna drive that Mercedes, I'm gonna be living the quick and fast life now because I'm gonna have a lot of money. And then I went through that, I call it a dipping phase, where it's like you see and you face all of these challenges that Forex really has to offer. So when a client comes to you, and obviously this is dependent on the problem. So I don't think we're going to go in, because obviously there's a range of problems. But normally when, and this is something that is, I have to ask, when a client comes to you and they have that thought of quick money, fast money, how do you install patience into them?
Well, I discuss the risks with people, and unfortunately, the truth of the matter is that there are more people internationally trying to trade who are losing money. So they need to understand that this is a game where if you don't follow the rules, you will make mistakes, and tata my money, tata my chance. You know that thing. So you have to be very patient and very disciplined under all circumstances, and the willingness to put in effort.
This is something that I also feel a lot of people can learn from, because I've seen on a lot of forex chat groups on Facebook that people would come out that they're not normally getting support from home. People is pressuring them. People are not quite understanding what they are do. So how did you, and I guess the only way to convince your family or people that's condescending towards it is to show them money. But when you do not want to show them the money, or you do not want to feel like they're just making a show pony out of you, how do you, I want to phrase this properly, how do you deal with the rejection of and I know this maybe happened years ago when you started out, but how do you deal with the rejection and maybe the skepticism of your family when you start out?
Yeah, that is a huge thing. Very often the people will be very skeptic. When I told my family I became involved in Forex, I did my first training that I attended myself in 2001. Two of my brothers phoned me, Johan, this is a scam. Stay away from this. And I persevered. I didn't listen to them. And uh, when I started to make money, they changed their minds because the proof is visible. It is working. It's not a scam.
It is working, it is not as, yeah, that I like that you don't have to, because when you say the proof is visible, you are saying that you didn't have to go out to be like, oh, look at my money and stuff. It's just that they could see in your day-to-day life that you're living maybe stress-free, you're independent, you have asked for a favor, took at it last,
Yeah.
you you basically, in short, you independent, you full on independent. And when they changed their mind, this is always funny to find out. But when they have changed their minds, what was the first things that they came to say to you?
Can you trade my money for me? Now, unfortunately, at that stage, 2004, with the new law coming in, the fast bill, which do not allow a person to trade on behalf of other people, except if you are in possession of a 2.12 license. So
Ooh.
it's also very risky to work with family. So I told them, sorry, but I cannot trade your money. It's not that I don't want to, I'm trying to be funny or anything, but I have to protect myself and to follow the law.
That is so responsible, because that, I don't know if the law have changed. I'm gonna have to do research on the 2.12 license. I don't know if it's still in effect.
Yeah,
Because obviously, all I'm telling my audience is, oh, if you give your money to people, they have to be licensed. But I didn't know exactly which license it should be. But now I know it's 2.12, and I will put in some research for that. Can you tell me how strict was the laws back then? Because, sir, I can tell you right now, you will find account managers, investors, people that's popping up like randomly. So, I can't. How was the laws back then? Because to me, it feels like it's really easy for you to become a scammer nowadays. It's really to pull off scams where millions of rands are involved. Once you have what you need, and then boom, you go. How was it back then?
yeah. Before 2004, there was no law regulating Forex. And unfortunately, the first companies who became involved in Forex trading in South Africa did their best to scam people out of their monies. And that gave Forex a very bad name and a reputation at that stage. So at the moment today, you are speaking to people, many people will immediately say, stay away, this is a scam. No, Forex is not a scam, but there are scammers out there. You have to be careful with that. And therefore, it's very important that when you pick a company to work with, like Hard Forex, make certain that they are regulated by the FSCA in South Africa. And that means that they went through a route to apply for the proper licenses to be able to operate a market in South Africa. You know, they are totally legal. the FSCA will see, is it a company we can trust? Is it a company that's financially healthy? And that may protect you in a way. So the FSCA will, it's their job to seek out scammers and to take them to court. Last year, they took a company to court where the company that manipulated the graphs in their favor, and that resulted in the clients losing money. I've been involved over the years in 4 court cases, fortunately never as a guilty person, but as a witness, where people who tried to trade without their license on behalf of other people were taken to court. And every time they were forced to refund the clients all the money that they lost with interest. So this is not a thing to take lightly. If you do not have the license to trade on behalf of other people, then it's better to stay away from this. You trade your own money and don't touch the money of other people. The 2.12 license, according to that, you are a recognized fund manager. I qualified for that license at the end of 2008. It took me 5 years to qualify for that license. But there are only, I think, a few companies in the country with that license. So at some stage, I canceled the license again because it's too time-consuming trading for clients every day. I trade my own money, I train people, and that's it. It's much less stress.
That's really good to hear. And normally people, they do not take licensing so serious, and I can only imagine the amount of effort that went into the time period of 5 years that you spent acquiring this license. I'm pretty sure once you had it, there was a whole lot of people trying to reach out to you and to, let me call it what it is, to use you to for that licensing.
Yes.
So I am very, I'm very glad to have learned that you have navigated your way without having to deal with scandals like that. So it's good to also know that you've been with Hot Forex for almost 10 years. And I can only imagine that this is or has been a crazy and fun journey with him. Nokotula told me about the trip that you went to, is it Cyprus? Uh,
So,
uh,
yes, I've
with
had
them,
the,
and
mm,
how was how was that?
no, wonderful. I've had the opportunity to go to uh, the head office in Larnaca in Cyprus, and I met the people. They took me all around the company to meet the people, and they took me around on Cyprus to see the views. So I really enjoyed it. I was a week there, and that boosted my confidence in the company. I can tell you that.
It would have boosted mine too, because I mean you in the head office, you're seeing how things work, you're meeting the bosses of the big bosses. So
Yes.
obviously that gives you a sense of confidence and trust within them. Um, for any people that is out there looking, I'm not gonna take up any more of your time. For anyone that is out there looking to join Hot Forex, why would you recommend them?
Like I said, reliable, uh, quick service, and lots of products to trade with. I think they expanded their list of products now to over 1,200 different products you can trade.
Sure.
So it's a very wide variety. Uh, that's more or
So
less
even
what.
as a so even as a forex trader, crypto trader, stock trader, you can come and trade on
Oh,
the.
yes.
Tell me, the spreads and that, how have you been finding it? The spreads
Very,
and trading
yeah,
conditions, if I can
very.
call it that.
It is very competitive as compared to other companies. Very competitive. So there are companies that are much more costly to trade. Outforex, I think, is a good spread.
I'm I'm very pleased to hear that. I will be keeping my account with them, and I will continue to trade with them. Thank you so much for making the time to speak to me. Thank you so much for the knowledge that you have imparted here today. The value that you have shared with me and my community is so immense that even I will come back and come and look at this interview again, because the notes that I have made while I've been sitting here and I've been interviewing you, it will not make up for the, as we call it today, for the gems that you have dropped here today. So thank you so much, Mr. Johan, for making the time. It was really a pleasure speaking to you. And as a trader, not only a content creator, this most definitely boosted my confidence. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. It's been a great pleasure and an honor to speak to you.
Thank you, man. I hope you have a lovely day further, and may the week continue to be as blue as the South African skies for you. So keep
Thank
well.
you. Thank you. I appreciate.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.